no worries. I'm super excited to have a chat with Kim of Danish Legends Mole. I've a big fan, so I was very excited to have this in my email. I was like, because sometimes you want to, bands you've heard a bit or whatever. So I have been following, you guys for a while, so I'm super excited. And
How'd you
not just
come across us?
what's that?
How did you come across us?
Like I think I I think it was probably from not just the shirt that I'm wearing, but I think I heard it from a lot of because I always suss out music that's around. So I like and
Mhm.
Ra and I like other bands, and then
Oh yeah,
I definitely into a lot of like underground bands, and that's it's definitely not that well known. So I'd heard, bits and pieces, so I definitely scour for that. And I did know that the second album you'd signed with Nuclear Blast, but yeah, then I was pretty excited because it's hard to keep track of all the bands. I didn't even know this
yeah,
was
yeah,
coming.
sure.
So um it's an amazing album. It's um you know something's good when you hear it the first time and you want to start it again. Like there's not and I don't think that happens that often, really, to be honest.
Yeah,
So, uh, what do you think?
that is also our, I think, um, what's it called? Yeah, I think that might also be our mark of approval if something, yeah, if you want to return to something, like you can listen to a track and that can be really cool. Um, and like parts of it. But I think, at least for Nikolai, when he's writing guitars, he comes up with a full song, um, and he has said that he doesn't want to present it unless he feels like playing it again. So
That's good. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, it is because it's not everybody knows it's in bands that I think particularly early in the piece when you have filler songs and that. I mean, not when you're recording, but when you're playing a
yeah,
set, you play it sometimes and you go, nah, that's not that good. But it's from whether it's like not so much a concept album, but having that flow across it.
yeah.
I think you've done that pretty well across all the albums, but it really the turns on it and that are pretty big on this one.
We'd like at least to give people like a long experience, not just a 2 minute one. And that's one of the reasons why we've I think we always strive, at least Nikolai and Ken strive to not make the same song or not make the same album, but give each album and each song an identity. So you know there might be parts that remind or draws inspirations from one or the other, but um yeah, the personality of the song um has to come out. And with everything, especially if you want to see something grow, you this sounds kind of trite, right? But things take time. We like to take our time. When we did diorama, we did not have like a lot of time. um and everything recording wise was um yeah, it was during lockdown, so there was just um COVID-19, and we couldn't be in the studio everybody at the same time.
Mm.
Chua Massen had to be the one trying to piece things together. So we've taken our time with this one, and also put you know some external factors that could make the whole process maybe a little bit more convenient.
Mm.
So we recorded at Fugle Ulbjerg. He has a studio in Monorama, the place where we rent rehearsal space,
Yeah, yeah.
and he he plays in various different outfits also, but because of his range of different genres, not just particularly metal,
Mm.
uh, and and I think also because Ken, our drummer, knows that he is a drummer, so there's
Yeah.
something about that drummer to drummer wanting to dial things in just the way you want it. And also having the ample time to um like it's not like he gave us a free pass, but we could put them on odd hours uh to so we didn't have to you know book the whole thing for a a week.
To back. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the recording process this way around, and I think we've had time to play around more on this one. mm, and then I there's Nikolai mentioned to me that there's just the fact that he lives in Aarhus again. Uh, he lived in the other side of the country for the whole diorama release, which is a big factor. Like we're all in the same city, um, so it doesn't feel like we're like you know satellites orbiting,
Yeah. Yeah.
never meeting, and that's at least pretty. It's important to me as well because we've had periods where we just met up to rehearse for touring, and that's it.
It's a bit of a
Yeah,
it's a bit of a disconnect, isn't it? Like it's so you want to, it's definitely, it sounds much broader, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Like if you're not spending that time and that, so it's not, yeah. And I think it's definitely it shows across the whole album as well.
mm, thank you.
No, no, it does, yeah.
uh, like at least for my part, as a vocalist and lyricist, I can say that this is the album that I feel craftsman wise is some of the things that I'm most proud of. And the same thing goes, I think, for the other guys. Like it's not like all of the other albums doesn't have, but that was that reflected our level of skill and regarding to songwriting and our experiences up until that point. So, if you see this as a mutual diary entry, then this is what we can do nowadays.
Yeah, because I mean, it builds over time, I suppose, because you started in 2012, if I recall. So it is you're
Yeah.
going to have that space of building that, and you're kind of almost. I think it takes a while to get that sound. I mean, the same elements are there, but it's definitely. I mean, again, it's a little bit trite and a cliche, but it sounds like
Yeah, like
this is the album where you've arrived. You know what I mean? Like it's not a departure from what you've done. But it's bigger. It seems more emotional to me. Like it's yeah.
I'm happy to hear that it is emotional to you because I think that's our main goal. Like, and it's always been to get people to stop, take things in,
Mm,
um, and you know, give an hour of your time, and not just have something in the background.
yeah.
Um, uh, Active listening, as they say.
Yeah.
Nah, it's like I think we we because music is also like our, I think, a main source of what's it called, a main source of like place both to reflect and a
Mm,
place to you know it it's not something I like to like I think most of us loves the album format because there's you set a time set aside a time if you put on a vinyl, if you put on something like and you want to explore a work, then it's like reading a book. I feel it would be kind of sad to, and now I sound really old, man. but but there's definitely something to a story if you get to not just hear the middle chapter
Oh,
and not the whole thing.
yeah, because
um,
it's not even, it's not even us sounding old. I think it's now the generation, and every band you've got to do singles and stuff, and then even some people take it so far, they release so many singles before, the
yeah,
build up and all that kind of stuff. But the real, like it's good, it's cool to hear that first song and you're getting a bit of a taste of it. But I mean, it's definitely I've listened to it from start to end, and I mean, I think anything that's not throwaway or disposable, um, there's because
mm,
you've not only taken the time, as you know, to write the songs, but the placement of the songs and the how it flows and the where it gets at the middle to the end. And to me, it's very well structured. Like it's not like, oh yeah, we've got these songs here. I'll throw those in there. You know what I mean? It's not. You can tell it's very well thought out. Like it's not.
kudos Nick to Nikolai and Ken, like they are obsessive with track listing, but I think we all are in some sense.
Mm,
Because it's about how you present the parts out of the whole picture. um and that's also one of the reasons why some does not necessarily make the cut or hasn't grown fully uh mature yet. Take an example, like Young was written back, like one of the first songs that Ken and Nikolai wrote before anything was called MØL.
right.
They used to play like in a shoegaze band together. And Nikolai got kicked out, I think, because he, yeah, well, I think it was something about him moving to England uh, and then not being as consistent with the rehearsal thing. But Ken and Nikolai, they clicked, and they've
Yeah.
been like the power couple ever since, or bickering, um, bickering old couple also sometimes. um, yeah, but there's magic happening when those two guys like put their minds together because they're I Nikolai is schooled in like alternative rock, all the Brit rock scene. That's his DNA. Like um, Sonic Youth and everything Thurston Moore has touched, and Cockatoo Twins, all of that. That's where Nikolai comes from. I know is he he's been mostly into like pop punk, Offspring, Blink 182, and then Dimo Borgia, and there's just a mixed mash of
Yeah, yeah,
things.
definitely.
Devin Townsend, and for myself, I come from hardcore and from technical death metal. Um, so I think that's one of the things that makes Møl like Holger, our bassist, he also has a vastly different approach. And then Sigurd, our guitarist, our other guitarist, he is like schooled um, a skilled musician, so he can play all of everything.
Yeah, yeah.
uh, but that I think there's something that happens when people come from different places, people who would not necessarily meet, but we like, and when that's said, every there's something that we all click with. you know, Mew from Denmark, and Nothing as well, and then Tears for Fears. There's different artists that are just that hit some of the same spots for us, and I think the the vast different influences makes up the greater picture. um yeah
Yeah, I think it's
and
because it's I think that mix makes it so special. I think because it's not, it's not a you could come together and you could have an idea, this is what we're going to do, but you don't know how, you don't know what the you've got kind of the recipe, but you don't know what the end product's going to come out. You never know. You can say I want to be a this type of band, but can sound completely different. And I mean that's the joy of it. And you can hear even in this album, I mean, across all the releases, it sounds so different, like the bits of this, bits of that.
I think a lot of things that come into play is like Nikolai has the framework. They build the skeleton of the songs, and how you choose to perform it when you go into the studio, that that's where we play, so the structure and everything is there. But for example, if when I go to record uh, some parts, then like I usually do demos before, and just the fact that I've gotten to like explore my baritone voice more. That's
Mm.
just it has been like a pretty fun experience, because I think, or I know that I've been singing in the wrong pitch for a lot, like in the wrong register for many years, because I've always played in outfits where people, weren't necessarily schooled, but have been like, yeah, you have to hit that high one, and then I felt really a lot of anxiety about that.
Yeah.
Um, so there's something about also finding home in your own instrument and making that instrument complement all of the other instrumentation.
Mm.
That feels really satisfying this way around.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely hear that. Yeah, it's definitely your vocals have definitely expanded, and it's definitely, um, and I think it's also, I think the phonetic style as well. I mean, like from you know one language to another as well. I think it fits in quite well because it's
Yeah.
obviously and someone from a native from somewhere, they're singing a song at the way that the word structure as well. So it's definitely because the way where they sit, because every country, including Australia or everywhere, you phrase it slightly different, but sitting in there as well as how you've changed your vocals, because I think it's very broad on this, you know what I mean? Like the the melodic stuff is very clear, but and then it just punches you in the face. You can hear, the heaviness as well. Like the range is very, like it's because I didn't know you'd so
Mm.
many hardcore bands or tech death metal, because I wondered about it, because that was, you know, that's they're pretty extremes, you know what I mean? Like to vocally
Mm.
carry.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah. Like I think there's at least a lot of well, I don't know how to like, because for me it's felt natural to be like, okay, now I know this, so let's find out more or explore this more. Like um, it it's okay to feel comfortable about something, but um because of how the sound of each album evolves, when there's time in between, then I get to at least be like, okay, how can I support the general song structure,
Mm.
and the writing in all the identity of the song better with my instrument instead of being something just slapped on top. And I felt that way in like in technical death outfits where it's like, oh yeah, you know, the screamer one in the corner, you can just fit in some like somewhere after all of the is done. Um, so the cohesiveness in songwriting and instrumentation and orchestration
Mm.
feels more wholesome, at least for me. Um, and I think that overall cohesiveness is what I know Nikolai is striving for with his
Yeah.
songwriting.
And is there any? I mean, it's yeah, it definitely sounds cohesive. I mean, not that I don't think the other albums sound like a mess. I don't think they're all over the place, but it's definitely stronger in every aspect. But was there any particular themes about it? Because you spoke about before it's a motive, and I did see on your social media, I did see some of the lyrics to Crush, and that
Hmm.
so it's obviously um it's obviously some insight and reflection there. You can see between that and what you can, obviously I haven't seen the lyrics to all the other songs, but
Mm.
there's definitely that emotive nature about it that tone and atmosphere across
Mm.
it. Is there any kind of central themes across it?
Yeah, like explaining Dreamcrush just as a title is interesting because in the Danish translation, we started out actually with a Danish title, Drømmeknus. And drømme, that means dreams. And knus, in Danish, crush, knus means both hug, embrace, and crush. Like both of the
Wow.
things. It's the same word. So, it comes out as pretty blunt when you do the English translation.
Yeah.
But we love to, stroll into the ambiguity because for us, like thematically, we usually try to find something that can kind of encapsulate all of our lives as mid 30 men. And there's something about um, the thematical offset this time around that um, like I usually latch onto something emotionally in the songs and then it becomes my story. But this time around, at least press wise, and also like I feel I'm the main extrovert in the band, and I feel sometimes that I'm the one taking up a lot of space. So I'm very aware of that. Um, but especially when working with four introverts, um, and I usually end up to being the face, the one that people talk to. But I feel at least this time around that you know we've done something that everybody can kind of relate to, tap into. We at least try to do that with each and every album. But especially when you are like, okay, it's about this
Yeah.
experience or something, then it sometimes can, that can be really powerful. But it can also derive a lot of the essential interpretation that you can have as a listener and put your own life into it. But yeah, there's definitely things there. Like when I started writing the lyrics for this album, I artistically, like all of the demos that I had sounded very lush and bright, and I did not feel that way. Like I felt
Yeah.
like a mopey's teenager sitting at the side of somebody coming by to celebrate their 20-year-old birthday, and everybody's having fun, and then there's just this
Yeah.
brooding. That was the feeling that I had when I started writing the lyrics. So, um, and yeah, so I think it plays really well into the the pitch that Nikolai and I we formulated about like Schopenhauer's vision of life being endless misery and striving. Um, not to say that that should make you quit altogether, but that uh, it's going to remind you that dreams are, if you keep the same dream throughout your whole life and you don't reassess, reevaluate, or kill some dreams to make sure that you are living a life according to your values and how your life situation is at the moment. That takes a toll on a person. So I might have been dreaming, like I dreamt of a lot of weird stuff as a teenager. um I wanted to be a I wanted to be an archaeologist. Thank God I did not become an archaeologist. Uh, but I read way too much saw way too much Indiana Jones, and I was really like,
Me
yeah,
too. Me
that,
too.
yeah. And then of course, like, but that's the way. Like, you have some dreams you want to pursue, and when you actually get there, you can get used to a lot of things. And I think for us, it's the core thing about Møl is our dream is has not necessarily to be like playing on, you know, making it. We're doing it uh, as a way of existing, like performing music and writing music is a doing, it's not a going to. You can get caught up in a lot of the wow, we didn't expect that, because that's how we feel every time. It's like
Yeah.
it literally is that, like, thank you, you are listening to it. Wow. You are okay. I like it too, because it's yeah, we did it because we like it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's good. It's, I
And
think,
it might sound ungrateful, but it's just, I think the music will continue if there's an audience or not. Like, yeah.
no, it does. And I think it's, it's a little bit about the kind of the struggle of it, or the struggle of life. And if it's not kind of cathartic, then it's not. I think that's a big part of it. Like, it doesn't mean, it can be some grim, or even some, you're thinking about some intense things, but it doesn't mean it's not fun to play. And and
Mhm.
you can definitely see that when you play live. Like, it's an experience in that, but it doesn't, like, it doesn't mean that pipe dream is, we're
Mm.
aiming for this or whatever. It's, it's in that moment, and you can definitely see that. Like, that's so much great music is like that. It's you can
Yeah.
you can hear the struggle in it. You can hear how intense it is. And that kind of almost makes it to a degree.
I think lyrically, I there and as like a vocalist performing a lot of the lyrics, like, I feel I can find those emotions for whatever that particular song demands. Um, if I draw the inspiration from uh, my childhood, or difficult experiences, it used to be a place where I had to purge,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, or because um, I'd like to think of myself as a pretty approachable, and I I I'm a social worker. I work with teenagers, so there's something about, you know, generally reading signals and just,
Yeah.
but doesn't but there was a time where I was like, okay, all of the angry feelings, you have to bottle them up, and then you can explode somewhere on some stage, because that's okay. Um, but I've had years of therapy uh, to deal with my shit. Not to say that it's gonna fix anything, but it makes me aware of that how much music is an emotional outlet, and um like I think Dreamcrush also comes on the back burner of me, on your. It's a long process with you know readjusting to, if you have been like religious and trying to figure out how your secular life is supposed to
Yeah.
be, if been like the I think there's a lot of that. That's why many of the lyrics are pretty navel gazing,
Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
well, it's definitely more introspective.
Mm.
It's about what you can do, because at uh, at this point in time, I'm like, if you're going to the grave tomorrow, if you are ending up with your last day, I'd rather be friends with the person I'm making that transition with, and that's who I'm looking at in the mirror. Um, yeah.
No, I think that's yeah. I think that's good, and that's where that's where that draws it from, and you can see that in the performance as well. So, um, it's definitely yeah, to bring that to that point as well. I can relate to a lot of things you say as well, because I'm a nurse by trade and I sing in bands as well. So it's definitely a containment and all those kind of things. And yeah, like you said earlier, the spotlight that often the lyrics do kind of come forth from the the vocalist, because they we know those other people, they're more interested in making the music, and they're not to a degree they're not looking at the lyrics, so it is intriguing. It's different people carry different weight, so
Hmm. I'm the emotional conduit on stage. Like, um, I think at least I've I use my body way more than the other guys, except Ken. He has plenty to do behind the drum set. But
yeah.
like, I think there's a lot of embodying the emotions,
Mm.
um, that I have the privilege of doing. Um, yeah.
Yeah, you can see.
So I don't see myself like a. Um, I think I see myself more. What's it called? I think, yeah, the vocalist becomes the hype man sometimes.
It does,
Uh,
yeah.
um, and I can't describe myself as a fully like a musician. So I think there's a difference. Sometimes when you see yeah, musicians sing, um, there's something about how, using a guitar or something like that. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
um, I've never been as eloquent, but there's also something about the instrument where you can hide behind it. Like,
Yes.
don't look at me, look at what I'm doing. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's like that. If you say to a band, like, try to play as you're holding your instrument, but just do it. Like, you know, I'll betcha a lot of musicians would be like, what? So it's really about that vulnerability. There
Mm.
for everybody there is a comfort thing. When you see teenagers, I have to wear that motorcycle hat to do this because then I'm not me.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I have to. We can play that game, but I have to have the guns so I feel more like me. Or
Yeah.
you take sometimes objectification is grabbing something, doing something is a way of protection. And
Mm.
I've done the same with a mic stand.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So there's something about that open vulnerable approach
Absolutely.
that I get to soak in. Maybe that's the extrovert talking there.
You certainly, I mean, it's certainly the spotlight was on everyone. I've seen the footage from Copenhagen. That was
Mhm.
amazing footage.
That was a really fun day.
Yeah, it looked like it, and I two things I liked. I liked everyone's performance. Everyone looked very happy, but what I also loved was non-stereotype the shirts, the colorful shirts, and that I thought it was so heavy, but it was also almost atmospheric to a degree, like like an experience. But on top of that, with those shirts as well, I just thought that was fucking great. I thought that's just another not the stereotype, and I know you play a lot of different bills with a lot of really heavy
Yeah.
bands and different bands,
We usually get to be the breather in between, 210 BPM sets, so, and people need that in a night.
and and how do you feel about how the some of the pushback from the black metal traditionalists about, because there's a bit of a backlash about black gaze and all that kind of stuff, and I think it's hilarious because one band like Death Haven, they've been crucified for it so many times with any change, as opposed to actually looking at the musical ability. Like um,
It's because there's so much culture, like it's tribalism. Tribalism is very much a part of metal culture. Um, so it's about, oh, you have that, shirt, you like that, we are instant friends. Uh, but the fact that you can, let's say, wearing what you wear, tribalism is about, the aesthetical, like how you dress. And like the Nikolai, he is not schooled from metal in any way. He does what he's always done with his instrument without knowing if he pisses people off or not. So I think there's a purity in that. And if people get upset about it and goes on rants, then we've accomplished something too. Because it's better with that than the that was okay. Uh,
yeah,
but yeah, seriously, those guys can fuck off.
yeah,
Like
because I mean
it,
the stuff that you do, and I would definitely piss people off because I think yourself and a couple of other acts play it better and it's produced well and it's also got more, there's variety of moods and
mm,
tangents and stuff. It's way more intelligent and crafted to me, like
I think with the black metal audience, I'm gonna address that. You know, if you look at it from a historical point of view, um, when black metal emerged and when punk also did, that was a counterculture to something existing.
mm,
And these people, many of them are, you know, in their 50s, maybe, or 60s, or 40s, regarding on which how they you know, and many of these people saw themselves as rebels. Uh, so the fact that they can get upset about um, that genre, uh, uh, or somebody dressing up in a certain way, that says more about their conformity than us.
Oh, yeah, big time, man. You know, like that's yeah.
You know, then a flowery shirt becomes punk.
That's it. That's that's one of my favorite things is how, and it pissed so many people off, was Napalm Death did a pink shirt with a unicorn on it, the Napalm Death one, and it's like that's more punk than anything, and it's like like that's just you know,
Mm.
um,
It's subverting expectation. It's being unafraid to, stand up and be who you are. But yeah, like the whole thing with the shirts, that actually came from us doing an evening no, not an evening, a late uh, afternoon concert, and we were so depending on the light setting. We usually go for that Cult of Luna vibe with
yeah.
no front lights, a lot of haze, but then we were like, okay, how can we make this into something that doesn't feel like we have to hide in darkness, and it can still seem aggressive. And that's where we were like, okay, yeah, like flowery shirts and smoke.
Yeah, yeah.
And that actually, I think that's, yeah, like it was not thought, maybe not thought very well out, but that at least opened it, our perspective, to that, you don't necessarily need a full light setup. You have to work with the circumstances you're on, and then you can you can perform your music in a way that makes it so intense that no matter if it's sunshine or midnight, it will come across.
Oh, it was great. The footage I've seen, it just really worked. Like it just, yeah, I think it's a counterpoint. It's like just, it's not, it's not about the image. It's not about that. The music is so powerful within itself, whatever setting.
Mm.
Um, I've taken up a lot of your time. I love the album. I think it's fantastic. As I said, I just back on repeat. Yeah, the journey that it takes it on, I think it's, yeah, I think it's a classic. I know without being a cliche, I think it is definitely, it'll get a lot of plays, and I think it's, yeah, it's quite an achievement. So I'm sure you're going to be very happy because that drops in a few days. I think it's Jan 30, so very
Yeah.
soon. But yeah, people should definitely
Mhm.
check it out because it's fantastic. Um,
We're a week away, and we're pretty excited. You know, no matter which release, every time is just like the week up until it's unbearable.
yeah, you want to birth the baby. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, but yeah, there's not. Yeah, I don't think there's. Yeah, if people are disappointed, then they need to get their ears fixed. And thank you for your time, and I hope you come to Australia one day. That would be,
I
because
really hope so too. It is a bucket list item for us, most definitely. Um, I hope we can do something where we could combine maybe Japan and Australia. I've heard that that's a route to go.
yeah, a
Um,
lot of people do that.
but
Yeah.
yeah, at least getting something out of the mileage, because there's a lot of driving involved in if you go from Brisbane to like Perth or something like that, right?
Oh, that would be, yeah, no, that would be, yeah, that's like up here to across there. Like
Yeah.
I'm in Melbourne, and across there it's like I did it once before going overseas, me and my wife, and it was a 2 day bus journey, and I've never, because the flights were so expensive back then, and um yeah, I wouldn't repeat it. You know, it's a big country, but most people fly anyway. But it's
Yeah.
yeah. But I think it definitely, yeah, because I mean, a lot of bands are touring again. Sometimes they even do it as a two-band kind of thing
Mhm.
now, and all sorts of genres and that are really,
Yeah.
coming out and stuff. So, and some interesting festivals as well. So, I hope it happens one day.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely chatting to you, and thank you so much for giving those, in-depth, genuine answers because it's so refreshing rather than, what were your main influences?
Yeah.
Oh, what are, that's just like, like,
Yeah.
it kills me, it kills whoever's getting interviewed. No, no one wants
Yeah.
that. You want to hear what it's about, like
Yeah.
it's simple.
Mhm.
Um, Thank you so much for your time and thank you for the album and the whole catalog. So, um,
Thank you for
awesome.
your time, Mark. And yeah, it's a joy to hear when somebody takes the time to, take the whole work in.
Yeah, well, like, yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I'll definitely gonna kind of couple this together with my review as well, which um, is very positive. You would say, because yeah, as I said, I loved it from the first time I heard it. So I think that's
Mm.
great. Anyway, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass, but it's great album,
Thank you.
great
Appreciate it,
work.
man.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah,
Hopefully see you out one day.
I
Take
hope
care.
so too.
Thanks again.
Yeah, you
Cheers.
too.
Cheers.
Cheers.